In 2006, member states of the World Health Organization came together at the World Health Assembly to actually recognize, and that was when what is known today as the World Sickle Cell Day started. 2 years later, in 2008, the United Nations at the United Nations General Assembly passed it into a resolution, and since then, the World Sickle Cell Day has been celebrated as a special day that has been designated for sharing of awareness about this special condition referred to as sickle cell disease. What is sickle cell disease? The simplest way to put it is an inherited blood condition that has the capacity of affecting the oxygen carrying capacity of blood as a result of abnormal proteins that have been inherited from the parents, and this condition eventually makes the red blood cells friable. It makes them break easily. Today we will be looking at the very important question to find out if people really know about the sickle cell disease. Do people know what genotype is? And most importantly, in line with the theme this year of the Sickle Cell Foundation of Nigeria, we'll be looking about how as a nation we can improve on life-saving measures. From wherever you're watching this show today, my name is Dr. Ogidime Ogenekere, and I welcome you to another interesting episode of Lifeline on NTA2. Before we go ahead with the program, I'd like to take a quick look at news making headlines in other parts of the country. I'll start by giving my heartfelt condolence to family members of those who suffered from any terror attack in terms of bomb blasts or whatever the case may be. Just recently, a couple of weeks ago, we heard that there was a terrible bomb blast in a cow market in Maiduguri, Borno State, and over 50 people were reported dead, with many much more injured. The important thing about this is that other than the family members who bear the direct brunt, anything about terrorism or terror attacks ends up either at the mortuary or at the hospital, where health workers have to bear the brunt. In other news, Rollback Malaria Partnership, through its Twitter handle 2 days ago, have announced the use of meteorological or weather studies, as the case may be, by researchers to forecast the outbreaks of malaria. Indeed, you know that the causative vector, which is the mosquito, the dreaded mosquito that we all do not like, this mosquito is the one that carries the parasite around, and the mosquito breeds in humid environment with a lot of rainfall and stagnant water. Indeed, this research that is going on at the Oxford University in the United Kingdom will be able to reduce the burden of the disease. Bear in mind that over 500,000 people are said to suffer this disease every year, with an estimated 3.3 billion people said to reside in areas of high transmission. And that brings me to the program for today. Joining me in the studio to discuss this all-important topic, talking about the activities that have been going on over the course of the week to celebrate the World Sickle Cell Day, is a distinguished professor of medicine, someone who has done a lot in the area of hematology, talking about blood diseases with sickle cell particular and other related blood diseases. He's the founder and the chairman of the Sickle Cell Foundation of Nigeria. I'm talking about no other than Professor Akinyanju. It's a pleasure to have you on the program, sir.
Thank you. I'm pleased to be here.
So, Professor Akinyanju, today is World Sickle Cell Day,
Yes.
the 19th of June. And like I was mentioning in other news, we talked about research. The people in the area of malaria are doing a lot when it comes to research. Talking about research in sickle cell, what is new as of today?
Well, research, one of the newest things is to see that hydroxyurea, which is a drug introduced many years ago, is now also useful in children, even as young as 2 months. And they can have it and it can prevent a lot of the complications of sickle cell.
Okay, so a lot has been going on in terms of how this wonder medication, as it were, can reduce the burden.
More research may find drugs that are better.
Okay, but while a lot of research is going on, the most important matter remains how many people in the general public really know about this condition, because this program is supposed to enlighten members of the general public. It's all about members of the general public. Before I go ahead to ask you the next question, it's important for us to find out what members of the general public had to say.
Sickle cell disease is a serious condition that affects people all over the world. The complications.
Sickle cell, let's say somebody that it's not really that okay, like maybe let's say sickler, somebody that is, let's say SS, getting AS and AS getting married together. So it can cause, like, you can give birth to, maybe if they have 3 children, at least 2 will be SS or 1.
Like when a person with AA, AS and AS get married, there's a possibility of them having AA and SS.
It's a distortion in the structure of the red blood cells, and it gives the shape of a sickle, and that is why they call it sickle cell. There's this donation of a gene, the S from a parent, and both SS from 2 parents will lead to the sickle cell disease. I will say that you make sure that if you are AS, marry AA. AA can marry any other person and AS, and they say you have children with only AA and AS. But once 2 parents are AS and AS, even at the point of getting married, just stop it. It may cost you your life.
A sickle cell person basically come about when a person who is a carrier, when an AS person who is a carrier marries somebody who is also a carrier. So there's a chance, there's I think 1 out of 4 chance of having 1 sickle cell. For people that have, when they carry someone who is an AS carrying sickle cell, another person who is also an AS carrying sickle cell, married together without knowing.
It's a syndrome that the blood sickle, that is, it's not a normal healthy blood. You know, a normal healthy blood is sickle. Why a sickle blood is a sickle in shape? Yeah, it's deoxygenated, you know, all the stuff. And when getting married, you need to know your opposite partner to status, so that a sickle cell's partner cannot marry a sickle cell. So that's it, because if they marry, the children, the offspring will be a sickler, you know, a sickle child sickling, and it will cause a problem. These are the ones they normally say, you know, in those days when there's no more enlightenment, our parents, they keep on having a sickler in the family. They thought it's Ogbanje children and all those stuff, not knowing that it was a sickle cell that is disturbing the child. So it's advisable for them to do their test so that they know their status.
Professor Akinyanju, so a good thing that people at least know what this condition is all about. Out of all the respondents that were interviewed there, none of them was absolutely ignorant. But the fact remains that there's a lot of conception. Now, before we talk about the conceptions, in terms of awareness, I know that a lot has been done by the Sickle Cell Foundation of Nigeria, but we know that more information needs to go out there. I came across a statistic that said 1,700, an estimate of 1,700 people die from the disease every year. What is being done in the area of awareness?
Well, a lot has been done for awareness. We do speak on I've been talking on radio programs now for many, many years, over 20 years. And we put up the center, and we do, even today, people have been on radio programs and TV programs, and we had a symposium today for the public to talk about different aspects. So a lot of people do know about it. People think it can be eradicated if people do not marry people who, like them, have the same traits like S together. Really, it cannot be eradicated. No condition that is inheritable has been eradicated like that. The same with hypertension. If you have hypertension in your father's family, you're likely to have it. You have it in your mother's family, both, you definitely will have it. Same with diabetes. I don't have diabetes because it's neither in my
maternal
or
lineage.
paternal, yes. But I have hypertension, yes. But I manage it. And I've lived a long life already.
Of course.
Okay? And that's what we hope to do with sickle cell. That people with sickle cell will live more normally and would also live long lives. We have people who are 89 with sickle cell. Very rare. 82. One of my patients is a High Court judge.
Okay.
Yes. One is a commissioner in a state. On the board of the Sickle Cell Foundation, we have a 66-year-old SS. I mean, it's
amazing.
Yes.
Just
a lot
amazing.
of people just think, and even churches go to the extent of saying, we've come to marry. Not you and me, of course. You've come to marry somebody. They want to know your genotype, and then they say, we're not going to marry you. Who are they to say that? You want to marry each other.
Yes,
They
Prof,
can't,
talking
because
about
that
this marriage.
was done in Cyprus
Okay.
with thalassemia, a similar condition.
A blood disorder.
And they found that people started changing their genotypes. And it happened even in this country. There was
Falsifying genotype records.
Yes, because you want to marry somebody, you want to marry them. I have a girl with sickle cell anemia. And I attended the engagement ceremony. The husband had come, a Nigerian too, from Texas to marry her. And they did the, he told me, said, Prof, but my husband, he is AS, you know. He thought I would say, why? Why not? I said, oh, okay. So he said, oh, at first I didn't want the marriage to go on. So I started going out with a man with AA, but it didn't work out. Then they married. And now they have 2 children. They still live in Texas. She came home early this year and she came to visit me. She's SS. The man knows she's SS. She knows. So a lot of people marry themselves. And in Brazil, I've seen SS and SS marry. In Nigeria, SS and SC, as people will marry who they like.
Okay,
but
Prof.
it's good to know, yes, so you know what you're doing. But there's this idea, I've even heard some doctors say, oh, we can eradicate it. Please forget it. We cannot eradicate none of these inherited disorders, whether it's diabetes, whether it's hypertension, whether it's sickle cell, even asthma, things like that, inherited. We can make them better. Okay. And today, sickle cell is much better than it was. You know, in America, they have sickle cell. Why? Because they came here and took a lot of people as slaves 500 or more years ago. And everything we know about sickle cell today, how to treat them, what to do when they're young, newborn screening, this, that, hydroxy, all have come from research from America, not from here.
Okay, sorry to cut you short,
Yes.
We will come back to what is available in terms of life-saving measures and intervention. But still on the area of awareness, it is very important for us to totally trash out the marriage issue. Prof, now you have been painting a picture that seems to look like nothing is wrong with an individual with AS, a lady with AS, and a male with AS who want to get married. Is it that there have not been any issues in the past? Is there no problem with it at all in terms of what the child eventually suffers? Now, we know that even in Nigeria today, there have been a lot of marriages that broke up because of instability when it has to do with the frequent visits of the child to the hospital and all of that. So is it that nothing happens, there are no burdens to bear, or there are no precautions if you decide to get married?
It is good. Here we have no structure, because there's a bill was going to be passed, and that bill was passed maybe because they didn't want to put money, because where you put your mouth, you must put your funds.
Exactly.
And that's what America did. 1972, they had the Sickle Cell Anemia Act through Congress, and they put millions of dollars each year, and that's why they've been able to do research and find out all we know now to make them live longer. In 1974 in America, the average life expectancy of somebody with sickle cell anemia was 14 years. In 2003, that's about 30 years later, it was 53 years, which is longer than average life expectancy of all Nigerians. Now it is about 60 years.
Okay.
So you can always, by doing research, improve, like we've improved cars, we've improved aeroplane, improved communication gadgets. You send a text, in 2 minutes somebody in Dallas receives it. I mean,
exactly.
All those things. We should start doing research. Research needs funding.
But what do you have to tell the man and woman out there who want to get married? The male is AS, the female is AS, but they know of their neighbor next door quarreling every second with the wife because they have a child.
No, not people quarrel over so many things.
Okay.
Money or whatever. I don't know how many quarrels have you say a lot of divorces or so through. We don't see that with sickle cell.
But in terms of
it's people just assume, but I'm telling you, people marry themselves. SS, we have another person married to AS and she's SS.
Okay, and Prof, let's bring it back to
this is what happens.
Okay.
In real life, and people say it, but when it comes to people, some come to do prenatal diagnosis, do all sorts of things, like the couple I told you in America, Nigerian couple, she's SS, the AS husband I knew quite well, went back with her. They have 2 children. None of their children is SS because they did pre-implantation genetic diagnosis. Once we invest in research, things will improve. Because we have the highest burden in the world, we should really be putting our money into sickle cell research. There's so many things about it we don't know that we should try to find out.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. So viewers and friends out there, in case you're just joining us, you are tuned into Lifeline on NTA2. Today is World Sickle Cell Day, and we have been talking about sickle cell disease, trying to increase awareness about the condition. Now, for those of you who have been listening, like Professor Akinyanju has rightly said, if you have a fiancé or a fiancé who is AS and you are AS, you need not be afraid. Once you have the right information, you can go ahead to get married to your loved one. Stick with us while we go on a short break. We'll be right back. Considering health trends as you've seen them in recent times, the quest to speak to everyone that makes healthcare relevant and worthwhile becomes very necessary.
Every state should have a sickle cell center, so that you have a place where all they do is to harness information and be able to help to improve capacity of people.
Not just the doctors, nurses, pharmacists, or other members of the basic health team, but the policy makers as well.
And the government needs to give life to their responsibility. It's not enough for us to pass a bill. It's not enough for us to sign it. We need to have checks and balances.
Financiers, communication providers, and very importantly, patient or potential client are informed, seeking that particular information that circumstance, looking out for that special message that can change your perspective in a healthy and life-saving way. That is your Lifeline. You're welcome back to the program. You're still tuned into Lifeline on NTA2, and my name is Dr. Kewe Ogidigbe. Prof, before we went on the short break here, I was telling the viewers out there, because that's in recent times, that's one of the most important things that people want to know. Can I marry? Can I marry? You rightly said it shouldn't be a situation where it's Prof that said we should not. The decision has to come from.
They don't marry Chinese, don't marry Russian, AS, don't marry. When you want to marry, you know who you want to marry. That decision should be yours.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're right-headed. You identify your soulmate, as the case may be, and then you take your decision.
Yes.
Right now, we are saying AS shouldn't be the issue for you. If you have made your decision and you have the right information at hand, then you can go ahead to marry your beloved one. Deny you your right to choose who your future partner be, not even sickle cell. Now, Prof, today is World Sickle Cell Day, and we are still talking about sickle cell. You are the founder and the chairman of the Sickle Cell Foundation of Nigeria, which was founded sometime in the early 90s. Now, from the information I started the show with, we are made to understand that not until 2006 did member states of the World Health Organization come together at the World Health Assembly that year to recognize what is today known as World Sickle Cell Day.
It was actually 2008 that United Nations...
That was when the United Nations... It took another 2 years. Yes. So from my research, UNESCO had been doing some work in 2005, and then the World Health Organization in 2006, and then another 2 years for United Nations General Assembly to ratify and pass into resolution. Why did it take so much time?
Well, because there are not many people pushing it. And when we started pushing it, gradually, it started taking, and I remember when, was it Kofi Annan was there? We even wrote him a letter, we even said, you know, there's so... pressure from many areas that we should have a day designated, and so people should know that this is an important disorder that people should put funds in to drive forward. Like now we have malaria. I have Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. They're trying to see what they can do about malaria.
In the area of malaria.
Yeah, we should have people who have funds here who should really adopt sickle cell and say, let's do something. Let's find out why. Even why they have pain, we don't know. Everybody says, oh, these cells do this. But I can tell you many reasons why that is not true. We need to do research to find out what, so that we can better prevent or better snap the pain when it comes and so on.
Well, whilst I was doing my research, I got information about the epidemiology of sickle cell disease worldwide. I don't know if my producer can be able to identify that picture and put it up on the screen. And I found out that worldwide, the heaviest burden seemed to even come from Nigeria. And some people have said as large as 1,500 babies are born every year with sickle cell.
In Nigeria?
That's one of the...
150,000.
150,000, sorry, 500. As much as 150,000 babies born every year with sickle cell disease. Now, coming back to the clinicals of it, in terms of the presentation in the clinic, how much do you people see these children and indeed other adults coming to present with one condition or the other in relation to sickle cell disease?
A lot of them, and because the country where most people are poor, we need to have newborn screening. We actually had a Nigerian sickle cell expert advisory committee, who's made some recommendations, and we're trying to see that governments will try with this new government to push it and see that they try to, one of those recommendations to make newborn screening. So that every child born is screened before long, so that they can know quickly and say, parents, this child has this. And so the parents can be counseled and that sort of thing. And then they can start doing what would prevent that child dying.
So the earlier you know,
the earlier you
then
know,
you start
the
in
better.
terms of
and
intervention.
then each child should have antibacterial measures, prophylaxis.
Okay.
As preventive.
Because they are prone to infection.
They are prone to
isn't
infection
it?
by pneumococcal bacteria.
Okay.
So they'll get vaccines for those. They'll get penicillin daily, at least the first 5 years of their life. That's when they do that, you see so many of them will live past that age.
But just to make it a little bit more understandable, it's a pity my producer is not even able to get the image of what a sickle red blood cell look like. I know I had one of that. What exactly makes these children prone to infection? Is it that their immunity is low?
Yes, the spleen,
which is an organ
in the body, which removes pneumococcal bacteria.
So spleen helps to remove.
Yes, but because the spleen then congested, because there are so many red cells being destroyed every day.
Bad red cells.
A red cell lives in a patient with sickle cell anemia for 10 days. In you and me, a red cell lives for 120 days.
Okay.
So that way, their bone marrow is working hard to replace the red cells, but capacity cannot.
So what we see on the screen right now, those are the sickled red blood cells compared to the normal red blood cells. And you're right saying that those red blood cells that look like the sickle that is used in the farm by a lot of our parents, that stays for only 10 days.
Yes.
Compared to the normal one, the brighter red, that should stay for 120 days actually. And then you were explaining, going ahead to explain why these children are prone to infection.
Yes, because then the spleen is so busy gathering these cells that been destroyed so easily.
Okay.
The spleen removes all the cells. You have to do it every 10 days. Bone marrow cannot cope producing enough red cells.
Okay.
To keep. That's why you cannot make say about 14 grams.
Hemoglobin, which is the protein that carries oxygen all around.
Keeps it at around 7 or so.
So viewers and friends out there, just to make sure you understand clearly, the spleen is an organ in the body that helps to remove different kinds of bacteria. It also assists in the process of removing bad red blood cells. And what we're talking about today, sickle cell disease, like we said, is a condition in which the blood cells become sickle. That is blood cell. By the time the spleen moves them, like the professor has rightly said, 10 days. The bone marrow, which is responsible for the formation of blood cells, especially in childhood, is not able to meet up, and it makes these children prone to infection. Now, quickly, Prof, before we round up...
Well, it also doesn't remove the pneumococcal
It doesn't
bacteria.
remove the bacteria. But before we round up, our time is almost spent. Talking about life-saving measures, like I said earlier, 170,000 deaths. What and what is available in the country today?
Life-saving measures is penicillin,
okay,
which you take twice a day. Here. So they should be part of the national immunization program.
Okay, the pneumococcal, like you said, the one of the very ruthless bacteria.
And that one is not actually in a national program.
And there are drugs that can be taken. Yes. Now, viewers and friends out there, sickle cell disease is a very large topic. It's not something we can talk all about just on one episode of the program. But remember, you must try. And one of the points you've rightly made today is, yes, you can go ahead, but you must have the right information in hand. Now, before I finally remember that we call the Sickle Cell Foundation of Nigeria here in Idiara, Lagos. From wherever you're watching this show, thank you for joining us. Until we see next same time next week. My name is Dr. Kewe Ogidigben. Stay blessed.